Hola, how are you, my friends? Mama Rita here. I hope you're having a beautiful day. I wanted to come here and just kind of talk about where I have had many blocks and where I have been my own saboteur in my vision and in my life and in my success. And it's so interesting when I talk to people and I hear them tell their story, right? Because we all have a story of like why we don't do this or why we do that or why we're not this or why we're not that. And there's validation in that. But are we really going to continue to allow that story to define who we are as people? I mean, people live and die with their story so proudly displayed on their lapel. They're like, yes, I'm proud. This is my story, and I am who I am. Thank God I could have been worse. Or I'm not the best because, oh my God, I had a terrible, terrible life. But I want to invite you to think about something. Why is it that one person could go through such a traumatic childhood and come out the other side completely succeeding, being standing in their power and in their greatness, and not allowing that story to define who they are as a person? If anything, they actually repel it so much that they just completely go the opposite direction, far, far, far away from it. And then the other person could have the same trauma and be completely lost in the story of it. And no one is right and no one is wrong. But the truth is, we had trauma, regardless of what it looked like. Trauma doesn't have to be an extreme trauma for it to be trauma. It is literally can go down to like one moment. Maybe your teacher said something to you that broke you and made you start playing small. Maybe it's your babysitter who used to say something to you that made you feel small, and you started hiding who you really were because of that. Maybe it was your parents. Maybe it's even your sibling. But there's someone somewhere in your life that said something or did something that stopped you playing full out, that started to chip away at who you were as a person. And then you started filling that gap with who you think you were supposed to be for others, not even for yourself. And so I made that clarity and distinction going through a leadership program called HCL, Hardcore Leadership. And to the outside world, it could look weird, right? It's like, what are you doing and why do you talk funny? You talk different. But it's really just about stepping into your leadership. And what that looks like is to be in level 4 responsibility, meaning, okay, recognizing where your shortcomings are, where your blind spots are, how you're showing up in the world, and how people experience you. And so being in that leadership training container, I was able to get a lot of feedback about how I was showing up in the world, both positive and negative. But it's not positive, negative, good or bad. It just is. It's just feedback, which is the beautiful thing about being in a container like this of people who are really just holding you high in your greatness. And they want you to see what they see in you. And so it looks like this. It goes, what is working is this, but what is not working is this. And when you have people talk to you honestly like that from a loving, generous space, what do you think is going to happen? Well, you more likely, if you're like me, will want to get defensive right away, right? Because it's like, oh, another reason why I suck, right? You start collecting evidence of why you suck and why you're bad and why you're broken. But this training, what it really did was it lifted me up with the positive, with the negative. Like I said, not that it's positive or negative, it just means that I was not staying in my true, authentic self when I allowed the story to overtake me. And so we call these like lovingly call these our nerds, right? Like the nerd of having to look good, having to get it right, not being good enough, not being worthy, not being pretty enough, not being fit enough, not having enough accolades and degrees and certificates and experience and stuff like that. Like we start to have the imposter syndrome because we don't feel that we fit that bill like that person over there that we're looking at, and we hold in a pedestal. But you know what was beautiful about it is that I realized we are all capable of leading and living into that vision and that purposeful life of abundance that we hold those people up in a pedestal for. We all have what it takes inside us right now. You do. And you have a superpower that is unique to you, which is why you're here. It's no accident that you were born. And now it's time for you to shine for yourself. And one of the things I realized that I get to go next on my next level of leadership is to be in a 10 out of 10 relationship with myself, first and foremost. Because if I can't be a 10 out of 10 with myself, then I'm pouring from an empty cup. And I am actually not, I'm doing a disservice to you and to myself, detrimental to me. But I'm doing a disservice to you by pouring my empty cup into yours. And so one of the things we learn is that we fill ourselves so much with so much love and gratitude and appreciation for who we are in our journey and in all our beautiful greatness. I started, instead of looking for evidence of where I was not this or not that, I started looking for evidence of where I was powerful, where I was talented, where I was impactful, where I am generous, where I am loving. And all that did was fuel my confidence. Because we are so good at negative talk. How many times are you like saying more horrible things to yourself than the person next to you is saying it to you? They're probably saying it to your back, but you're like in your head, literally killing yourself with your thoughts. Literally. So what this leadership program did for me is opened me wide up to where I was not being my authentic self. And it was scary, and it was uncomfortable, and it was like in your face, but it was what I needed and what I needed to shift. It was the only way for me to shift. Because everybody in the world wants to treat me with gentle hands and not honest with me about how I am, how I'm showing up, who I'm being in the moment. And if they are, they're not coming from a loving place. They're like, hey, F you, you're like, blah, blah, blah. And what does that put me? It puts me in the defensive. And then later on I leave and I'm sitting there pondering and harping over that for like a week to two to a month to even a year and being like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that that's how I showed up for them. I was totally not intending to do that. I was coming from a loving space. I really love them, and I wish people would just see my heart and not the armor that I wear to protect myself, right? And so but that you don't know how you're showing up for people unless they tell you, and you get that feedback, and that's what this room gave me. HCL gave me that, and I was like, I want more of this. I know that I have another level, another ceiling, that I want to make that ceiling my new floor. And so I jumped into PhD, which is mastering and embodying what leadership means and what it is. And there are 12 distinct characteristics of what a true leader embodies. And that's what I'm up to now. And since I've been doing that, I realized just how powerful I am when I open my heart and I give from a generous place and be vulnerable and be authentic and be open, right? No expectations, no conditionality, no agenda, just truly open. And I want to pour into all the people in my life, because the way I see the world, if everybody took this leadership program, we would be living in a world of people taking level 4 responsibility for everything that they do and create in the world, where there's no victimhood, There's no, I'm better than you, so I'm going to step on you to get to the top. It's all about bringing each other up. Like, imagine, do you see that? Do you envision that for yourself and your loved ones? A world where there is nothing but loving generosity and level 4 responsibility, being responsible. Like, oh my gosh, why wouldn't you want that for yourself and the people around you and your loved ones? I want that. I even want that for the people I don't know, because I know we all are hurting and we all are very, very similar in what our story is. Our story sounds different, but the core of the story is the same for a lot of us. Just wanting to be loved and wanting to fit in and belong. But when you go through this program, you realize like how you are the creator of all of that. How you are not including yourself. You want to be included and loved and all this, but like, how are you not showing up that way for yourself? Because if you're not showing up in love for yourself, how do you expect the world to give you love? You get what you give. There's that saying for a reason. What goes around comes around, because it's true. You get what you give. And when you start operating from a place of generosity, give to give, not to get, just give to give, you start to see a world of abundance unlocking for you. And that's already starting to shift and happen for me. And it started with my relationship with my husband. And it's trickling into the relationship with my children. And then it's expanding out into the relationship with my extended family and friends. And I get to fully commit to myself and having a 10 out of 10 relationship. And that means being fully responsible for how I show up in the world. And the moment that nerd, any of my nerds want to show up, I get to quickly go, hey, I see that you're there. Why are you here? Okay, I see what's underneath that, and I get to shift it. And the power that comes with that is amazing. The power that comes with you saying, hey, I didn't know what I didn't know until now, because now I know that is where this is coming from, where that limiting belief comes from, and I get to shift that. And I get to replace it with a positive affirmation, a positive action. And the beautiful thing is that I get to reinvent myself every and any given moment. Like, yeah, I'm sorry, 2 seconds ago, I like got in my head, I got an assessment, like, I got overwhelmed, but you're like, it's like this, like, and great leaders are able to do that, but they were born that way. Leaders are made. And a lot of the times, like Tony Robbins, if you ever heard his story, it started because of somebody being generous and giving and loving to his family in a time of need. And that ripple effect, that one generous gesture that person did, bringing him and his family Thanksgiving meal, when their father had just walked out on them and they didn't have any food on Thanksgiving. An anonymous person came to his house when he was 8. I think he was like 8 or 10. I forget how old he was. He was really young, Tony Robbins. Gave him the food, didn't want it to be anonymous, just said, hey, enjoy your family. That caused such a ripple, that caused such a shift in him, in his identity of the world, that he's like, oh my gosh, there are people there who care. There are people there who care. And you know what he did? The first time he had any kind of money to be able to get for himself when he started working, the first thing that he did was he paid it forward. He bought a family a meal the same way that he had. So he was paying it forward. And like, imagine that family. And I'd like to know what that family ended up doing with that. Generosity pays it forward, like in a ripple effect that you have no idea. You have no idea how far your loving, generous offer and heart can reach. And even how long. I mean, it could actually change and shift the whole entire generation of families. Just by being generous and giving and seeing that person in their greatness and holding them high in the vision that they want for themselves and their family and the world. So I am here to empower my female counterparts in the world to step into your power and confidence once and for all, to live that life of abundance that you've always dreamt of, and have a 10 out of 10 relationship with yourself, so that you can have a 10 out of 10 relationship with your family and your children, most importantly, because the children are our future. And if we can raise confident, strong, powerful children, this world is in good hands. And that's where we get to go as a society and as a human race, is we get to love on ourselves first and foremost. Keeping our word to ourselves is where I get to go, because I kept breaking my word to myself. Not anymore, up until now. And when I am my word to myself, I'm in integrity, I'm in my power, I'm in my confidence, I'm in my authenticity. There's nothing that can sway me, right? There's always going to be trouble. There's always going to be a scenario, a situation that is going to throw you off. But now you get tools. You get to have a tool kit. It's almost like a tool belt that you carry with you and be like, hey, I got a spray for that nerd. I got a roller for that one. Because it's like, okay, I see you. And leaders actually, like extraordinary leaders, take on a challenge, take on failure. Like they want to fail. They're like, bring it on. Because why? Because they learn from those mistakes. It's like a famous quote Thomas Edison said, I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that do not work. Is the way that you're living your life working for you? Is being who you are right now and how you're showing up in the world really working for you? If it's not, I invite you to please comment, reach out to me, get on a call with me. And I'd be happy to talk to you about how this program can really elevate your life to the place that you see yourself in. Can you do it alone? Probably. But you don't know what you don't know. And that is where true growth and expansion comes from. It's from the things that you don't know you don't know. And so being in a leadership container surrounded by other powerful people in the same mentality as you, wanting the same goals, pushing themselves to that next level, the mentors and the coaches that are in there, giving it such generosity, supports you and holds you high. And like I have grown leaps and bounds and just since February of this year. And I get chills just thinking about where my life is going to go and how I get to impact the world. But most importantly, how I am impacting myself, and I'm changing the norm. I'm breaking generational patterns. So don't you want that? Don't you want to break generational patterns? Break those bad habits. Break the patterns that are not serving you. Like, just imagine yourself in a year from now. Because for me, it literally has been a year of such shifts and transformations. Imagine yourself in a year living the life and being the person that you know deep down inside you are. What would that look like for you? What will you be doing? Where will you be living? How will you be dressed? What do you eat? Do you eat new stuff? Are you traveling the world? Are you impacting lives? Are you starting a family? Like, what does that next level for you look like? And I invite you to check in and find out what is stopping you. What has stopped you up until now from really fully committing and declaring yourself that vision? What is stopping you? Imposter syndrome, scarcity mindset, money conversation, not enough time. We all have a story of why we're not. And I did too. I still do. Like, I don't know how I'm going to pay for this program, but I know that I was committed to change, and I was committed to myself in my power. I was committed to stepping into my power and I'm scared shitless, actually. But I'm also exhilarated and renewed and empowered, and like I just feel reborn. And it's very satisfying is not the word I'm looking for, but it's very the word is escaping me. But when I'm in the room with these powerful leaders and I see people are like, oh my gosh, that woman is so powerful. She's educated, she's professional, she's got degrees, she's got a business for this long. Like, I want to be there with her. And I'm like, how can I learn from her? And when they come to you and they give you feedback of how you're showing up for them in power and how you're helping them shift and helping them break whatever other little shift and limiting belief that they needed, that you were the purpose for that, like something that you said, and or the way that I am being in the training, in the room as a person and as a teammate and as a leader and as a woman, how I'm showing up in the room is helping others shifting in their beliefs and to help them break that ceiling. And it's humbling. That's the word I'm looking for. It's humbling that I have that much power and I'm that powerful, and it's time that I trust in myself. It's time that I believe that about myself. It's time that I step into that fully, 100%, no holds barred, no apologies, no excuses. Because what is the price that I pay if I don't? Well, my marriage, I pay the price of not being married, and my relationship after 24 years not surviving. The relationship and connection with my children. The connection and relationship with my community, which for a long time I disconnected myself from. Because I started feeling not worthy, broken, insecure, and so I started retreating from the world and disconnecting myself. And then I'm sitting here today wondering why when I call my friends, nobody answers. And I'm sitting here wondering why nobody calls me. And I'm sitting here wondering why I don't get invited to that party or to that wedding or for a lunch date. I sourced that. I created that myself because I didn't believe in myself enough to show up for myself. And when I show up for myself, I'm able to show up for others. And I haven't been doing that. So if I have a friend who knows me and is listening to this, I am sorry. Or a family member, I am sorry. I recommit to our relationship. I recommit to our friendship. And I recommit to being in relationship with you. So, this is what leadership looks like. 100% responsibility for how you're showing up in your life. If you want this feeling, this like empowerment, this like I feel on fire. I could feel like I could do anything. And before I used to kind of feel that, but then the next day I'd be like, it's just a moment that I had. And then I would let those nerds kick in and tell me how I was not worthy, not good enough, imposter syndrome, all those things. But not anymore, my friends, because I get to do it one step at a time. And I get to fully ground myself in what my vision is. And my vision is here to empower women especially into their confidence and their superpower. We all have a superpower, like I said, right? Some people's superpower is to, like Tony Robbins, that's his superpower, right? Motivational speaker. Other people's superpower is like branding and messaging. Like everybody has a superpower. What is yours? Aren't you interested to find out if you don't know? This program reveals it. This program reveals who you are truly. And there's power to that. So my friends, please stop living your life on the sidelines. Take action. All it takes is for you to be a committed action and a yes today. You don't have to know how it looks tomorrow and how you're going to pay for it later, because if you're in committed action and you declare that this is what you want and you're going to do it, that's all it takes is trust, taking the leap. God and the universe and your guides, they all are waiting for you just to have faith in taking that leap and trust that you will not fall, that there is going to be a net to catch you. We don't do this alone, guys. You just get to ask for support now, and you get to be supported, and I'm here to support you. I'd be happy to be your coach through the program. Right now, actually, HCL, I just heard, is offering a crazy discount. And it only takes $200 down to be a yes. You don't have to enroll in the next one. You can wait to make the payment until you feel comfortable in having the money and enroll yourself in a future HCL program, because they're constantly happening. But all it takes is $200 down, which is I've never seen. I've been in this program and I've been following my coach for like 7 years now, and she's never ever offered this at a $200 deposit. So like, if any of you out there have a scarcity conversation, first of all, I invite you to see where that started. Where's the first time you felt like having scarcity mindset? Because I realized that for me, it was my scarcity mindset, and why I was being blocked in my abundance is because I didn't see the value and the worth in myself. So it's a worthiness conversation when you have scarcity, and that's been kind of the case for a lot of the people that I've encountered in this room, in the rooms that I've been in. So a lot of times when we have scarcity mindset, it's because we don't see either the value in the program or the value in ourselves and the worthiness. It's a worthiness conversation. So $200 to invest in your life, in your joy, in your power, in your purpose, and in your mission for the world. Like $200 down just to make that commitment and say I'm a yes? Like, come on. Like, really? It's like a no-brainer, guys. You can easily get that on PayPal as a loan. PayPal will give you a loan to even pay for the whole thing. Right now it's at half off discount even for the whole program. If you pay in full, it's half off. Like half off. I wish I got that deal. The value is still there, and you know what? I would pay $20,000 for this program because of how far I have come in such a short time. And it's funny because I've been in so many training rooms. I've been in Tony Robbins training rooms, Dean Graziosi's, and a bunch of all these other training rooms, and the message is the same. And so I felt like I was having a lot of aha moments. Oh yeah, I get it. But I wasn't feeling a shift in myself. I wasn't feeling like I was changing enough to see the needle moving forward. And it was within my HCL training room that I heard our trainer, Lisa Camlin, she's amazing. I heard her say one thing that shifted all of that, all those years of training, and I had an identity shift. It was a breakthrough for me. Like all those limiting beliefs and nerds, as we call them, are always going to be there. They're always going to be there. And now I am aware of them, and I get to choose how to show up. I get to choose to shift it. I get to choose to say, hey, buddy, I know you're scared and you want to come out. I'll let you come out for 2 minutes, but that's all you get. You got to go back. You got to go back in your room. You get 2 minutes, and that's it. You know, and there's power to that. So much power when you're a victor, not a victim of your own life. So, you want to be a victor of your life? Call me. And if you're still a victim of your life, call me. We get to shift that. You get to be supported on that and how it looks on the other side. Oh my gosh, please. Everybody gets to up-level their lives. Is that going to be you? Please like and subscribe. Comment below. Find a way to get a hold of me. Ask Mama Rita. at Linktree at Ask Mama Rita, and there's a way to contact me and set up a free call, a coaching call with me. And let's do this. Let's do this. It's a free call. Like, what is it going to hurt you to call me? Nothing. If anything, there'll be one limiting belief that you get to break through and conquer. So what is that one for you? What's your limiting belief? All right, until next, my friends, please be kind to yourself and others. And I actually mean that so much more now. Be kind to yourself and others. Keep those energies flowing. All right, you got this.